Hello, everyone. This is Thor. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the astrology chart of Prince William. And I mean, this is a crazy time for Prince William. Prince Harry just released this book, Spare, today. And Prince Harry's making some allegations in the book that Prince William pushed him to the floor at some allegedly on some sort of altercation they had. So this is, I mean, to say that this is drama really is an understatement. And I've been saying in a lot of my video predictions, I feel like there's going to be this damage control mode that the royal family is going to be going through right now. So I'm going to take a look at Prince William's chart. We're going to really try to understand what's going on from Prince William's perspective, according to the planetary placements that I see in the chart. And of course, this is my opinion. For those of you that are new to my channel, make sure you like and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get all my videos. I love doing the royal family videos. They're so interesting. And so expect more of those. Also celebrities, monthly predictions, and also I do videos on important planetary transits. I do Vedic sidereal astrology, which is the astrology of ancient India. So your sign may actually be different than Western tropical astrology. You want to make sure you're going to the appropriate calculators online. Make sure they're Vedic sidereal. And if you're interested in your own personal private reading, please check for details down below. I'm also going to add a disclaimer on this video. This astrology reading is for entertainment purposes only. All statements about Prince William are alleged and based on my opinion of the energies in the astrology chart. So, I really don't know what Prince William is really thinking or feeling. These are all my opinion. All right. So let us really talk about what's going on with Prince William's chart. What kind of planetary period is Prince William in right now? I mean, this is just a super intense time. And it's so interesting that at the drop of this book is right around the time that Saturn's about to change signs on January 17th. So when as an astrologer, when I see that, it's like there's this total correlation. Wow, okay, this is happening 7 days before Saturn changed signs. So it really shows this huge karmic shift that's happening for Prince William at the moment. And really not just Prince William, but all of us, all of humanity at large. So let's go ahead and pull up the chart. I did do a video on Prince William before, so you may want to check that one. I'm probably have details in that video that I might not include in this one. All right, so let us take a look. Oops, I pulled up the PowerPoint. Let's go to the chart. All right, here is Prince William's astrology chart. And Prince William is a Sagittarius. For those of you that are new to this, Sagittarius, K2 in the first house. K2 in the first house can make somebody somewhat selfless. So it could be somebody that's really devoted to a life of service. So I want to make that point right away. All right, so let's clean up the chart. Let's really focus on what kind of planetary period Prince William is in at the moment. In Vedic astrology, for those of you that are new, we use this system called the Vimshottari Dasha system. This is really unique to Vedic astrology. So Western tropical astrology doesn't use this. But essentially, the idea is with the planetary dashas is that during different periods of your life, certain planets are going to be highlighted, and the karma associated with that planet is going to be experienced. So, for example, even though your whole chart is operative, if you're in a Venus period, for example, and I'm using this as an example, you would be experiencing all of the karmas associated with that planet more intensely. So there would be a special focus on that. All right, so let's talk about the planetary period that Prince William is in at the moment. He's in a Mahadasha, which is the really large period called Saturn Mahadasha. So we really do want to look at Saturn because, Saturn's going to really be influencing things. And then he's in a Bhukti, which is the sub period called Mars. Okay. And then there's even a Prantyatar Dasha, which is a third period. I mean, each one of these periods gets smaller. Okay. So Saturn Prantyatar Dasha, well, that starts the day of the release of the book. I mean, look at that. It starts January 10th, 2023. So, I mean, we can get really detailed with these dashas. So in some videos, I just focus on the Mahadasha and Bhukti, but in this one, I found it super interesting that the really small sub period starts on the release of this book. And then the very small Saturn sub period is going to continue until March 15th, 2023. So it's about a 2 month, short period. But the Mars period itself, the Mars Bhukti, is going to last until October 3rd of 2023. So he's going to be in this Mars Bhukti for the next 10 months. So let's really talk about Saturn in the chart. So these are really heavy energies. I mean, it really doesn't even matter what ascendant you are. I mean, even if you are, say, an Aries or a Scorpio or a Capricorn or an Aquarius, if you're going through a Saturn period, it's still going to be a very tough, serious, hardworking type of period. If you're going through a Mars period, there's going to be times where there's anger experienced, or there's going to be times where you're frustrated because that's all part of what Mars represents. So it's super interesting that literally Prince William is in this period where both of the planets are right next to each other in the sign of Virgo. So, I mean, this is really being magnified right now. He's in Saturn Mahadasha. And if we're talking about Saturn, it's obviously going to be about his public duties right now because Saturn's in the 10th house. So there's a focus on what he's doing, his public duties. He takes it extremely serious. He didn't walk away from his royal duties like Prince Harry did. He's doing them and quite busy with all of them. So Saturn shows this sense of obligation. The Mars Bhukti, same thing. It's all this drive and determination. So he takes his job, his royal duties, he takes them very serious according to the chart, like really serious. This is like not really enjoyable. This is like, let's get to work. Let's take care of business. It almost reminds me of that song, taking care of business. That's what I when I see this chart, I feel that's what's happening. Now, the thing I want to point out is, Saturn and Mars are really different planets. So, I mean, Saturn represents the brake, and then Mars represents the gas, if we were driving a car. So, this is, this push pull dynamic. A lot of people that were born along this time in 1982, I've done several charts, they have this placement with Saturn next to Mars. And one of the downsides about this placement is it does show suppressed anger. Okay, so it usually does show that there's situations in the life where there's some sort of suppressed anger. A lot of this does come from past lives. So likely, according to the astrology chart, allegedly, uh, Prince William's had a lot of past lives where maybe he was oppressed in some sort of way. And I know some of you are probably going, okay, yeah, right. But according to the astrology chart, this could show somebody that was oppressed and maybe they weren't allowed to voice their opinion. Maybe it was a past lives where, you know, where maybe he wanted to say something, be a political activist, but maybe he was very suppressed and couldn't. So a lot of us have had past lives like that. I mean, if we just look at history a few hundred years ago, I mean, essentially there was no freedom of speech. I mean, if you said anything against the ruling establishment, it was pretty much violently suppressed. So it does show in Prince William's chart. Now we live in a different time. We don't live in a time where, things are like so suppressed. I mean, we could argue that, right? We could argue that the freedom of speech debate, but it's not like it was hundreds of years ago. So there's this idea of right now, and the reason why I brought this up is I do feel, based on the chart, Prince William does have his own version of the story. He has something he would really like to say. Like, for example, maybe he wants to get up, maybe he would like to have a press conference and say, hey, this is my version of what happened, and yada, yada, yada. Okay. But so there's this idea he really wants to set the record straight with Mars. because Mars wants to defend itself. Doesn't just like to let somebody make any allegation and just get away with it. Mars wants to defend himself. Mars wants to go to war. Okay. But Saturn is suppressing that. Okay. So Saturn is saying, no, 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 we can't say anything. We have to keep our opinions to ourselves. And you just need to toe the party line. So that's essentially what's happening right now. I do feel, based on the chart, I do feel like there is this strong desire. He really wants to say what he thinks about this situation. Okay, and there might even be this feeling of like what he thinks this might not even be truthful. So he wants to get his version out. But the establishment, which Saturn represents, maybe it's the monarchy, the advisors, the government, whoever's around him might be saying, hey, you just can't go out there and just, you can't go out to the media and just say whatever the heck you want. You can't go out there and just defend yourself. If you do anything, and I'm going to talk about this in a moment, if there is anything that Prince William does to react to this, I feel like it's going to be a very calm and calculated type of response. The reason why I say that is I do feel that Saturn, if we take a look at the chart again, and I'm going to pull that back up, if we look at what planet is stronger out of the two, see, Mars is not good in Virgo. Okay, Mars is not actually a strong planet in the sign of Virgo. It's an enemy sign. Saturn is okay in Virgo. So Saturn, out of the two planets, I mean, in my mind, in the D1 chart, Saturn is stronger. Okay, so Saturn has some strength in the D1 chart. And Saturn also holds the higher degree of the planet. So I feel like even if there is some anger there, I do feel like Saturn is going to rule the day. I feel like Saturn is going to suppress it. Okay. In certain situations where Mars would be stronger in the chart, maybe we would see somebody go towards more of that Martian energy. Okay, but I don't see that necessarily within Prince William's chart. Also, remember I told you the smaller sub period, the Prantiantardasha, which is Saturn. Again, it's highlighting this really calm and calculated, suppressed. Let's not say anything. Let's just kind of wait. Let's just kind of like relax. Let's do everything very professionally, very calculated. Let's not fly off the handle. So that's what Saturn's all about. Saturn's all about maintaining this appearance, maintaining this decorum, doing what society expects you to do. And especially since Prince William is the future king, I mean, honestly, he can't. I mean, if I was his advisor, I would say you can't say anything right away. I mean, you're gonna have to have a very cool temperament about all of this. Okay, but I can tell you that there's definitely a feeling right now being in this Mahadashan Bhukti. There is an anger being felt. I mean, that is being felt. Okay, so it's a very suppressed. Mars and Saturn being together, it's a very frustrating type of placement. It's frustrating because you can't really do what you want to do. So I want you all to be aware of that. Now, the interesting thing, and I talked about this, or I think I talked about this earlier, was remember on January 17th, and I've been talking about this in a lot of the videos, transiting Saturn is going to be entering the third house of Aquarius in Prince William's chart. So this third house of Aquarius, and interestingly enough, third house represents siblings. Isn't that so ironic? I mean, third house, and it typically represents younger siblings. The 11th house is usually older sibling. So, I mean, third house can represent siblings in general, but usually younger siblings. So we got Saturn going into the third house of Aquarius. And, wherever Saturn goes in our charts, I mean, that represents extreme difficulty. There's challenges regarding that house of what the third house represents. Now, Saturn's going to be in the sign of Aquarius from January 17th, 2023 until about March of 2025. A Saturn transit typically lasts 2.3 years. So that's why, it's one of the slower moving planets in the zodiac. It really makes us learn the lessons of those 2 years. I mean, Saturn will keep on repeating the lesson over and over and over. Okay. So if we're looking at this chart, this is showing, oops, let me click on that again. If we're looking at this chart, I mean, this is really showing that these problems that may be happening with Prince Harry, this is not just the book gets dropped and everything kind of blows over and everything's done. And, just everyone kind of has this, hoopla for a few weeks and then it kind of disappears. No, this is actually showing consistent, repeatable problems that are going to be happening over the next 2 years. So we're talking about most of 2023, most of 2024. There's going to be this idea of a focus on his siblings, or, and I believe it's just one sibling, right? It's just Prince Harry. So Prince Harry, the focus is on Prince Harry for the next 2 years. So in my mind, that shows there's a lot more to this story that's going to come out. Even after this book, we're going to see a lot more things coming out. Even Prince William might not be aware. There might be a lot of things, with a lot of us psychics and astrologers, we're not too confident in the relationship with Harry and Meghan. So, I mean, it would make sense if I'm looking at Prince William's chart that, there could be some serious drama within the next 2.3 years beyond that, just the allegations of this book. Okay. Now, the other thing I wanted to point out was, the third house also represents largely the media. Oops. It represents the media. So there is this idea to really contain the narrative of the media right now, contain what's going on for the next 2 years, contain the story. And I know that apparently, from what I understand with the royal family, they have almost their own press corps. So there is this idea of, you can guarantee that they're already getting ahead of this. They already know about Spare. Who knows? I'm speculating, this is allegedly, but who knows? Maybe someone leaked this thing on purpose, and maybe, they're ready to go. This to me is like, they're ready to go. They're ready to respond. Prince William is ready to respond. This is not a joke. They're going to take whatever measures necessary to make this happen. And Saturn and Mars, I mean, those planets, they're serious planets. They're not going to just let something slide. Saturn and Mars are going to be going, Mars is going to war, and then Saturn's suppressing. That's essentially what's happening. So, I mean, this is my opinion, but this is like game on. Okay. This is like, okay, there's some allegations in here. Okay. Prince William's game on right now. Okay. We crossed the red line right here. And, I feel like if I was to make a metaphorical red line, this is the red line, and the red line, or the Rubicon, just got crossed. Okay. We're going in the control. We're going in the full control mode. We're going to start like really spinning the story. We're going to start really like getting our version out. And, there might be versions. What we might find is the royal family has all sorts of ways of throwing in rebuttals. This could come through leaks. This could come through all sorts of, this could come through all sorts of methods. And I do feel like if there ever is a statement, if we ever see a statement in an interview, I do feel like it's going to be very calm. I don't feel like it's necessarily, we're not going to see the anger. I don't believe. I don't think we're going to see Prince William angry, like really frustrated, red faced, or anything like that. I think we're going to see maybe blunt. I mean, Saturn in the sign of Virgo could be somebody that's very blunt, like we might see he doesn't know what he's talking about, a really serious statement regarding that. We might see that. But let me tell you, this story is going to be, this is well going to be controlled, and we're going to see more of this focus on the brother in Prince William's chart. As many of you, as many of you think, I mean, this is such a tragic story, this fallout between the brothers. And like I said in a previous video, I mean, I feel like so many, especially those of you in the UK, you watched Prince Harry, you watched Prince William grow up together. It's like you felt that they were a member of your own family. And it's like we're watching a family feud. And this is really sad at this point because, many of us feel like there could have been something, a more positive outcome to this whole situation. And so it is sad to see, because you know, especially those of us that watched and loved Princess Diana, it's like we don't want to see those two brothers, essentially being in a feud. So it's a really sad time. That's what I got right now. I do feel that let's take a look, one more thing, or what we can look at the end of 2023. At the end of 2023, Prince William is going to be in a Rahu period. Um, I think there's going to be a big shift away from when he enters the Rahu period. I do feel like there's going to be a shift away from a lot of this drama. And I feel like, we're going to see a lot more leadership coming in at the end of 2023, whether this be just like getting really focused on the charity work, getting really focused on this stuff. I feel like, but I do feel like for most of this year, there might be a focus on all this damage control that's going on for 2023. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you all think down below in the comments. Are you, do you think Prince Harry is telling the truth, or do you think Prince Harry is not? What do you think of Prince William? Let me know down below. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.